Hello, friends. English Literature Introduction to Drama, As You Like It by William Shakespeare. Short questions with answers. Short questions 1 to 10. Question 1. What is comedy? Answer. Comedy refers to a literary work which deals with humorous, familiar events and the behavior of ordinary people, speaking the language of ordinary people, less exalted and less serious than a tragedy, commonly having a happy ending. According to Aristotle, comedy is an imitation of worse persons, yet so much bad with respect to general depravity, but in that particular species of turpitude which is calculated to incite a ridicule. This is either produced by mistakes of judgment that are not attended to its dangers or fatal consequences, or by deformity of body, provided it is not occasioned by pain. The main characteristics of comedy generally are: number one, all the comedy deals with some abnormality. Number two, predominance of love is found in comedy. Number three, there are elements of ludicrous in comedy. Number four, the superficial aspects of life are dealt with in comedy. Number four, all the comedy end happily. Question number two, what are the characteristics of Shakespearean comedy? Answer. The comedy of Shakespeare's time was very different from our modern comedy. Common features of Shakespearean comedy are: number one, Shakespeare communicated his comedy through language. Number two, the theme of love is prevalent in every Shakespeare comedy. Number three, Shakespearean comedy always involves multitude plot lines cleverly intertwined to keep the audience guessing. Number four, the plot is often driven by mistaken identity. Number five, young lovers struggling to overcome obstacles. Number six, Shakespeare quite often had characters masquerading as the opposite sex, leading to many misunderstandings and comical situations. Number four, Shakespeare was a master of wordplay, and his comedies are filled with puns and witty language games. Number eight, Shakespeare relied heavily on his stock characters for his plays. These stock characters were instantly recognizable stereotypes to Elizabethan audiences. Number nine, family tensions that are usually resolved in the end. Number 10, all Shakespearean comedies end happily, involving marriage or pending marriage. Number 3, how does Orlando complains against Oliver at the beginning of the play As You Like It? Answer. Orlando is the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys. Orlando complains about the way his eldest brother Oliver treats him. Since Oliver is the eldest brother, he inherited all of Sir Roland de Boys' estate, as well as the responsibility for taking care of his younger brothers. So at the beginning of the play, he complains against his brother Oliver, who had been charged by his late father to look after Orlando and educate him properly. His another brother, Jack de Boys, is being properly looked after by Oliver, and he is studying at the university. But Oliver has denied Orlando his part of the will granted by his father, and has deprived him of the place of a brother, of education, and of a proper living. His life was no better than that of an ox. He was forced to feed with the farm laborers. Oliver treated him like a slave, not as a brother. Orlando is upset that he is kept away from school and forced to work with animals at home. Question 4. Why does Oliver agree to give Orlando a part of his will? Answer. While Orlando is complaining against the ill treatment of his brother Oliver, the latter arrives and orders the former to do some work instead of standing idly around. Orlando spitefully tells Oliver that he has as much of their father's blood in him as Oliver does, and angrily says that Oliver, is not discharging the responsibility with which his late father had entrusted him. Oliver, in a fit of rage, slaps Orlando. He also calls Orlando a villain. Orlando then grabs his elder brother by the neck and holds him. Adam comes out of his hiding place and asks them to be patient while with one another. Orlando replies that Oliver has denied him an education as befits his rank as a nobleman. He therefore asks Oliver to give him the small portion of money that Sir Roland left him in the will, 1,000 crowns, so that he may live and seek his fortune elsewhere. Oliver agrees to give Orlando a part of his inheritance. Question 5. Why does Oliver plot against Orlando? Answer. Orlando is the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys, but his elder brother Oliver does not treat him with brotherly love. When Orlando is complaining against his brother's ill treatment, Oliver arrives on the scene and orders him to do some work instead of standing idly around. Orlando spitefully tells Oliver that Oliver, is not discharging the responsibility with which his father had entrusted him. Oliver, in a fit of rage, slaps Orlando. He also calls Orlando a villain. Orlando then grabs his elder brother by the neck and holds him. Adam comes out of his hiding place and asks them to be patient with one another. Orlando replies that Oliver has denied him an education as befits his rank as a nobleman. He therefore asks Oliver to give him the small portion of money that Sir Roland left him in the will, 1,000 crowns, so that he may live and seek his fortune elsewhere. Oliver agrees to give Orlando a part of his inheritance, but when Orlando leaves, Oliver decided to teach him a lesson and to withhold his inheritance. Question 6. How does Oliver plot against Orlando? Answer. Oliver plots against his youngest brother Orlando in order to get rid of him. When Charles asks Oliver to dissuade Orlando from the wrestling match, Oliver provoked him against Orlando. He slandered about him to Charles and incited Charles against Orlando. Oliver warned Charles that Orlando was the stubbornest young fellow of France and was determined to kill Charles. He also lied to Charles that Orlando was overambitious, a jealous rival, and a conspirator. Charles should not treat Orlando with honor during the wrestling match. If Charles underestimated him and Orlando remained alive, then in some way or the other, Orlando would get Charles killed in a secret way or poison him. He went on to say that if Orlando's true character was revealed in detail, then Charles would be horrified and Oliver would be in tears. But fortunately, Orlando wins the wrestling match, defeating the professional court wrestler, Charles. Then Oliver plans to set fire on Orlando's lodging and wants to put an end to his life by burning. Question 7. How does Leroy describe the match in which 3 sons of an old man were killed by Charles? Answer. Charles is a professional court wrestler, while Rosalind and Celia are mocking the goddesses of nature and fortune. Levo enters and tells them that they have lost an opportunity of seeing a good bout of wrestling. Rosalind and Celia want to know about what has happened at the wrestling match, and Levo describes to them that an old man entered with his 3 sons, 3 proper young men of excellent growth and presence. The eldest of the three wrestled with Charles, and in a moment Charles threw down and broke three of his ribs so that there is little hope of life in him. Charles gave the same treatment to the other two sons of the old man. He said that they lay there with the old man grief-stricken, lamenting over their conditions, and the people who passed by to shed tears. Question 8. Describe the wrestling match in which Charles is defeated by Orlando. Answer. Oliver incited Charles to kill Orlando in the match. Being persuaded by Oliver to kill Orlando, Charles promised that after his bout, Orlando would not be able to walk without help, and if such was not, Charles would give up his profession. When the wrestling bout is going to take place, Duke Frederick, being aware that Orlando is not an equal to the skills of Charles, who is a professional wrestler, tells Rosalind and Celia to dissuade Orlando from wrestling. When Rosalind and Celia try to dissuade him, he tells them with due respect about his firm determination to fight the challenge. He also informs them that if he dies, there is none to lament his death, and that his death would be no loss as he would be replaced by a more worthy individual. In the contest, Charles is thrown down to the ground by Orlando in a matter of minutes. In fact, Charles swoons because of the blows which he has received from Orlando. Question 9. Why does Frederick pass an order of banishment against Rosalind? Answer. Duke Frederick is jealous of Rosalind because he was more popular than his daughter. He feels that Rosalind's goodness and popularity would affect Celia. So, without any prior warning, he passes a sentence of banishment against her. He tells her to leave the court within 10 days. If after that period of time she is found anywhere within 20 miles of public court, she will be put to death. Then she wants to know the reason for her banishment. He says that he does not trust her because she is the daughter of the man whom he regards as a traitor. When Celia protests against her father's decision, he says that Rosalind is a very cunning girl who uses all possible methods to win the hearts of people, and in this way to put Celia into the background. Because of Rosalind's presence in the court, Celia's virtues have been eclipsed. Celia would appear to be brighter and more admirable if Rosalind leaves the kingdom. So, being jealous of Rosalind's virtues, Duke Frederick vanishes her. Question 10. How does she react to the order of banishment against her? Answer. When Duke Frederick passes an order of banishment against Rosalind, she does not remain calm and wants to know the reason for her banishment. He then says that he does not trust her because he is the daughter of a man whom he regards as a traitor. Rosalind thereupon tells him that her father is not a traitor. She boldly says that it is Duke Frederick who has usurped the dukedom of her father and banished him from his dukedom. Her father has not usurped Frederick's dukedom. She also adds that treason is not something which passes from a father to his son or daughter. So neither Rosalind nor her father should be termed traitors. Thus Rosalind spiritedly defends the accusation leveled by Duke Frederick against her and her father. Thank you friends for watching my video.